Activate.
Hey,
works.
Scott, get up here. Rise.
I don't want to.
There we go.
That's unfair. Oh my god. Unfair.
You know,
Scott has a bad back.
those DM muscles. Look at that. Look at that. Nothing.
Did it just get
Nothing.
smaller?
Nothing. Oh,
It's like your clothes bunched up slightly less.
I know, right? I'm a
No,
twig.
He tensed his DM muscles, and it sent a bit more muscle over to the Shadow Realm. That's how he pays for it.
I'm in the Shadow Realm. I'm really buff.
He's
My
huge.
shadow is huge. Like this whole background. It's very bright outside, but it's really my shadow is just. Oh, hey. Welcome to Jarviskjir.
So speaking of shadow power, you're gonna be excited about Dark Sun. Oh, I mean, sorry, Jarviskjir.
So, Haven charges at the door while Vale kind of tries to crowbar it.
We are definitely going to end up tangled on the floor, anime style.
Well, we got a 22, so.
With your face.
You got a
in his-
16.
Yeah,
Vale,
with
give me a
each
dex
other's-
save.
we're just
Haven,
gonna-
give me a dex save with disadvantage.
Why do I need a dex save?
Because I'm telling you to roll one.
The door's about to go
Bitch.
boom.
With disadvantage.
I rolled
Vale doesn't have
three.
disadvantage. Haven does.
Oh, sorry.
Ah!
Oh.
Oh, ow. Oh, dear.
Oh. So as you charge at the door,
300 kilogram stone door.
as you charge at the stone door, you actually feel, Vale feels, and Haven feels it move. But Vale feels it move, and all of a sudden, there's almost a sound it makes. He just tries to move out of the way, but doesn't move out of the way quick enough. Haven's charging at it. Shoulder barge? You got to shoulder barge a door in, right? That's the only way.
Dislocate your shoulder.
Unless you're the Juggernaut, bitch. You charge at this stone door, and as it moves, there's a like a noise as this white light emanates from the door. Now, Melody's the only person who gets a good view of this. It's almost like this branch of white light, leaves and all, just stretches from the door, almost like lightning, through Haven, and some of the branches twist and hit at Vale, and then disappears in a sort of almost like all the branch turns into the leaves that fall and then fade into nothingness. I'm gonna need to roll some damage.
I knew it was a bad idea. Don't listen to Haven's ideas.
I knew Haven wanted to get wood inside of him. I just didn't realize it was this bad.
Wow.
And also, that noise was really loud. Both of you take 27 points of damage. Radiant damage.
Oh, I'm immune to radiant damage.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm a celestial creature.
I'm a sun elf.
Yeah.
You'll take 28 points of radiant damage. And I'll add that Haven, Haven, what HP are you sitting at right now?
15, because I took 28.
I'm actually gonna say for this, because you rolled that 1 there, you fall down and you are temporarily, you're not even knocked unconscious, you're just sort of like stunned.
Dazed.
Dazed. So you fall to the ground and just like, and maybe you get up, but you aren't like with it for a short few moments. That made a hell of a noise, and it was such a weird noise. And the door is slightly...
Oh, my concentration check to see if I lose my spell.
Yes.
I took how much damage? 28?
28.
So, is it...
Pass a... What is it?
So 14, right?
14. Unless I'm terrible.
Am I correct?
Yeah. You got to pass a 14. So Haven runs at the door as a rook, comes back as Haven.
That's probably a good thing for the record.
And that noise, you hear the noise of people lighting lanterns in the rooms, and like the of minor magics and things as the doors start opening, and like tired students sort of poke their head out and see 2 people who look like vagabonds, charging at the, laying at the ground, flinched, and one of them at the end of the hallway actually runs out and goes to grab guards who are, Vale can already hear running up the stairs. They're not heavy armor, but you can just sort of hear the running up the stairs and the clinking of their rapiers and stuff.
Shit.
Only 2 right now.
Yes, only 2 after that huge tree penetrated us both forcibly.
No wound.
Questions.
No
questions.
physical wound. I'll point out.
The rope that Vale tied to that railing, did he ever untie it from the railing?
I imagine
I
you
mean, I
would
didn't
have, right?
explicitly say that, but I definitely.
He didn't explicitly say it, but like he would have. He's very
no
neat
sense
about
letting
these
good
things.
rope go waste.
No, damn it. Okay, never mind.
But this
high
is
up
why
are
it's good that he got that that escape place. So
how high up are we?
you're pretty. You're up there. But it is a let's say it's like a 15-foot drop to that tree down there, and then there's a whole tree of drop. So this could be, especially because you're injured, a lethal drop. Now, like I said, Vale thinks he can land in that tree pretty easily. It's the others sort of falling into a tree. If you don't, you're gonna have to do like an acrobatics check to land in the tree, and if you fail, you take all the fall damage.
Mm-hmm.
You're still gonna take some damage landing in the tree. What is it, a d6 per?
Is Haven able to move? Well, he's dead.
I think it's one of those things. As you start grabbing him up, he starts instinctively standing up, but you can kind of tell, like you've seen people who've been like concussed, who've been like knocked in such a way. You see it all the time on ships, like they knock their head on the side of the ship when there's turbulence and stuff. They're not like there right now, but like they will instinctively move if you pull them around.
Yeah,
Maybe give him a smack.
I think I'm gonna start pulling him opposite direction to the stairs that the guards are coming up.
So the opposite direction of the stairs, the only thing over there is a smaller window and a walkway that connects the 3 hallways of dorms. Get it?
But a load of dorms.
Well, yeah, but all the dorms are closed aside from the ones that are opening. Right
So
now.
as we're going along, I'm hoping that one's going to open next to us as we're going. At which point I'm going to pull the old short sword on whoever opens that door and say, "Back into the room slowly."
Okay, that happens. Actually, a tiefling opens the door who looks very similar to Amelia, like white skin, pointed ears, white hair, but there's a slight more horns to her feature. And she goes, ha, ha, and sort of backs up into the room. You don't even need to do a roll for that. You're scary and terrifying. And at that point, you hear people from the other side of the room in Infernal, because why wouldn't they? Actually, you don't understand Infernal. You just hear like, you don't understand any of it.
Can I point out at this point, Melody was separate from the other two. They've taken off one way. Melody is not following them. She's going to go back the way they came, basically. The way
Go
they
ahead
came
and
up.
give me a stealth roll to try and... Because I know you're probably going to run, but it's more like running in such a way that they don't connect this. You
Running
know.
as a mouse, yes.
Yeah,
but-
running as a mouse. Well, the guards are going to have to do checks. As
Stop that mouse!
Yeah,
As
I think-
they're
I was really
running-
gonna take notice of the mouse.
as you're running,
Clearly
like,
a part of
they're
this.
yelling in Infernal, and you hear one yell in Infernal as you sort of go around the stairs and actually point with the rapier at you. Shit, I don't remember their entire spell loadout right off the top of my head, but I have it written down in this book.
This is how Melody died.
Probably.
Honestly,
no, I don't think they'll straight up muddy.
This isn't even an initiative roll situation yet. This is a poison spray. That's what they're casting. There we go. I knew they had a damage cantrip.
It's gonna be like when a parent has to come and pick their young drunk child or hungover child up from the from the police station. Amelia's gonna turn up like.
They did
Do you
what?
realize how much trouble?
Hey,
be clear, if you showed
Melody,
up
give me a
today-
con save.
This all would have been skipped.
And Scott, what's the constitution of the rat there? So that open.
Oh, I literally just closed that. Give me 1 second.
Right click, open the tab.
History.
I somehow doubt it's very high.
Recently closed.
9 for a rat.
So -1.
That could be worse.
20 -1. It's
That
possible,
could
right?
be worse.
They only have
It
1
was.
health point.
And
so,
these are just the
Oh,
guards.
that was so nearly a 16!
Alright, where the fuck? I never have a D12 on me. The under-respected
D12,
dice.
the
Why, it
neglected
doesn't matter.
dice.
I have 1 hit point. It's going to.
Oh, you have 1 hit point. So points out.
It's a mouse.
This.
No,
No, you don't have 1 health point, do you?
As a
A
mouse.
mouse is going to have 1 hit point, surely.
Yeah, but what do you have?
The mouse
yeah,
has
okay.
1 hit point.
If you want
But then
to add
it
that-
rolls over, doesn't it? So never mind.
Yeah, if it rolls. Yeah,
So it's
okay.
actually it's 6 poison damage as it just sort of like points and this sort of spray, almost a line of poison just goes and hits you, sending the mouse tumbling over. Immediately the mouse turns into Melody. Give me a dex save.
Ha.
I have been rolling crap today. I have been
Who
rolling crap.
rolls down the stairs?
I'm just saying, this is all Vale's fault.
Taking 4 points of bludgeoning damage as you roll down the stairs. At this point, roll initiative. This is an initiative situation now. Now that they've seen Melody, it's a full-on fight. I mean, did you just laugh at the fact that they're ruining everything?
Look at our rolls. They're awful.
Oh, I totally didn't clear initiative before this.
Are we rolling initiative as well?
Yes. But I totally didn't clear initiative properly, so it's junk.
Why are we rolling
That's it.
initiative? as
Because
well?
it's a fight.
This is close. We're still
We're on the same
close.
floor.
You're on the same floor. There's a fight going on.
Sounds a couple of steps.
Yeah.
We're
Have
in a-
Melody
we're in a
smash her face
closed-
into?
Well, we're in a different room.
You're down the hallway.
Does it really
and,
matter?
and Melody's at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah,
Stop whining.
and there's a ton of people around. Roll initiative, or you get a 1.
I mean, I'll just take the 1 on principle then.
No, you get a 14. And then these guys... Because bear in mind, there's only 2 guards right now. But you know there's more than 2 guards in the... Well, actually, you don't know there's only more than 2 guards in the building. You've only seen 1. I can't hide this rollover, which is really annoying. And the guards actually have the same initiative. Because they're guards. Guards. Ba, ba, ba-da-da-da-da. So actually, it's Haven. Haven, you hear. You come back to your senses at this point. Haven, you hear Melody fall, and you also hear. You're being carried by Vale into the dorm room of this tiefling young woman. And I'll add that these dorm rooms are like, gameplay-wise, technically 2 spaces big, but a very tight, very small space. And there would be like a candle so like a candle lit so there's light in the room. The woman is like back as far as they can against sort of a little chest, but probably has clothing in it. Just staring at Vale like he's some kind of dread pirate.
Okay, interesting.
So,
So it's my turn first. I don't want to necessarily harm anybody.
sure, that's what
I
I
don't
would
know.
say.
I suppose the first thing I could say is to Vale is, in there, just like looking towards the room that you wanted us to go in.
You're in it already.
Oh, okay. We actually already made our way in there.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Basically, he's in the doorway because it's such a small space. Like he's in the doorway. Maybe his back is like kind of outside, but basically you're in it, pinning her to the back of the wall. Gameplay terms, but of course you're not actually.
Is there
pinning her.
anything in this room that seems like just quick glance, not even like rolling a check, just anything that would stand out that I've taken in thus far?
Candles, books?
Just like a dorm room.
It's just a dorm room.
Okay, then it's not even worth being in here. We need to get to Melody. So I'm going to step out into the hallway and look around. I imagine, do I have to make a perception check or something to see where Melody went?
You could hear where Melody went. You're a ranger.
Okay.
Your perception's that good. So the hallway, there would be these guards would be actually pretty much. I'm braining distances in my head. They would be actually 25 feet away from you right now, the guards, and they're standing basically right next to the stairwell. So Melody is a double move away down the bottom of the stairwell. Well, not the bottom of the stairwell, bottom of that part of the stairwell.
I'm gonna turn and rush my way over to like where Melody is, because I have like a heightened speed or whatever. Potentially past the guard. Do I have to like run past the guard or whatever to get
You
to
would
her?
have to run past it. Well, what's your speed? And you're double moving.
First round, 40 feet, so 80 feet.
Because of that, I will say that they're not completely blocking. So basically, the area where the front of the stairwell is, or the stairwell opens up into, is like a large sort of space where, you know, people could sit down and do some studying and stuff. So actually, you can totally like circumnavigate them with your movement speed and get to Melody absolutely fine, because you have enough speed.
I'll stand over Melody with my spear, like aimed towards them, with my pike aimed towards them, and say, "I will drop this weapon and surrender if you tell me you'll bring us to Sparrow."
Ooh, give me. That's an Is that an intimidation?
No, because I'm
Or is
not
it
trying to scare them. I'm
It's
telling them I
just-
won't attack.
It's just a badass. Okay, it's persuasion. Go ahead.
Okay.
You can try.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna suck. Oh! Oh, I think I broke my chair more. Oh, it's a floppy arm now.
I've got to imagine Vale's face when he hears him say that. Is it proud or is it annoyed?
I'm annoyed.
It's disappointing.
The guards, like, one is pointing put like one hand and rapier like that, and the other one actually has their spell book out and their rapier sort of in the other hand, kind of wielding it very awkwardly. That doesn't really work. And the one pointing at Haven just goes, "Very well, but you're the one who is going to have to deal with how angry she's going to be. You there in there, come out. We accept your surrender." Truthful.
I will.
At least they're gonna try.
I will actually like place my spear down, like gently, and I will also pull out my longbow and place it down. Let go of my quiver. Take out my hand axe and my light hammer.
All your stuff comes off.
Put all of them down right in front of them.
The other guard, like, puts down his rapier and actually goes and picks
Keep
up
my crowbar.
Okay, sure. Crowbar's definitely the same stats as a mace, right? And he picks them all up. He picks up the stuff he can, sort of puts them aside, and is like, calls something, like, points to one of the students, like, "Go downstairs, get someone to bring this." And they're like, "Hey," and rush past you. Vale, what do? They do yell for you to come out.
I'll come out. Sheath the sword.
Come on, weapons off, just like your friend.
My weapons are worth quite a lot of money, and the last time one of my friends gave you something, you kept it. I'm going to need a little bit more proof that I'm going to be getting these back.
Well, will you either give us the weapons, or I'm going to have to bind your hands. Alright, and he casts a spell on you, which you're going to allow happen,
I was hoping you'd run and jump out the window. Like,
I kind of like want that, like badass, like pirate moment, but I don't. He casts.
I'd risk it if I wasn't on 14 health.
Oh, you're even less than I am. That's right.
He's a rogue, remember?
Yeah.
And it was so close to him passing. If he passed that, like, maybe we'd have some heroics right now.
Do you have 42 HP?
41.
Well, you and I have almost. I have 43. You and I have almost the same, and I'm a
You
goddamn
have more
ranger.
than me, and I'm having to tank half the time.
But I have I take now, right? But I have a con of 16. Wow, Vale, you must roll really well.
I rolled max last time.
Nice.
So
Sorry.
the guard walks up with the spell book and just sort of flicks to a particular page, makes a tiny motion in the air and mutters an incantation in gibberish, and then your hands a small greenish sort of bind, actually quite loosely wraps around them, but then you find yourself unable to move, unable to even want to move them properly. Your hands are bound, and he, at this point, the two guards sort of take the lot of you and take you further upstairs, going up the stairs even more and more. And the one who's sort of leading, who has the sort of the poison bubbling in their hands, and the rapier, who's pointing mostly at Haven, just like, "Just so we tell the Sparrow, what's this all about?"
Something that was stolen, and someone that was stolen.
Mostly someone that was stolen.
All right. And then they take you upstairs. You go up many flights of stairs, up many layers, up what assumedly look like classrooms and even a library, and workshops and things, to where you get at the higher part of the tower, where they even have to go through another set of guards to the archmage's area of the tower, where there's this beautiful, this lovely, highly decorated sort of meeting area that, again, sort of like a foyer, but definitely for people of interest. And actually, while you're walking through there, and it almost looks like a large roulette wheel, like there's this weird shape in the middle, and then like segments coming off in a sort of circular chamber with rooms going off to the sides. The Archmage Sparrow actually meets you in that chamber, looking exactly the same. Frustrated, but just sort of nodding and understanding. So, what is it that you want? You seem to have gone to a lot of trouble for this.
Where is
Gil.
Gilwin?
Gilwin is preparing for tomorrow.
Okay.
I understand you might be spooked, but that's sort of how things work here. He's agreed to work with me tomorrow in order to, what is it that he wanted? The key to his mother's room, and then whatever is inside it.
Mm-hmm. And
Can we see him?
He's busy preparing right now.
and you are an archmage, yes?
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't send us a note, a letter, hell, a little magic birdie?
Excuse me, who are you?
I'm friends with Gil.
So no one of consequence.
His hired guard.
So no one of consequence. Gilwin would have told you all this. As an elf, surely you understand the concept of
He
time.
couldn't tell us because you stole him from us in front of.
He will tell
in
you
front
when
of our
this
eyes.
is all done. He will tell you tomorrow.
Well, you stole him from us in front of our eyes and expected no response. Honestly, that seems kind of stupid for someone who's supposed to be smart.
You're being incredibly rude right now.
I agree, you are being incredibly rude.
At
You
that
stole
point-
somebody
at
from us
that
and
point,
aren't even apologizing.
Just poking the bear, Mr. Six Intelligence. You'd also
You
do that as
are
any character.
poking the bear.
No,
I was
The bear
about
pokes
to
back with a
poke the
pike.
Yeah. At that point, she sort of moves very quickly, and you actually realize like her hands are in front of her, but that sort of dissipates, and she holds a spell book in one hand, and just goes like to Haven. Haven, make me a Wisdom Saverino, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was making a.
No, not an initiative. It's a Wisdom save.
I thought it was initiative so I could punch her in the face before she did that.
Actually, yeah, I'll allow that. I'll allow you to make a. Because that would never work
If
as
I
a
have the
mage.
insight to realize what she's doing first, I get that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a dex save to do it first, but
Yeah,
and also
I'll
'cause she had-
insight to realize it.
insight,
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be a pretty hard DC because she was using illusions to.
I rolled shitty. I rolled shitty.
Give me that wisdom save, friend.
Sure. That's fair. All that's fair. Oh! The fuck you ones! Why do you haunt me today?
At that point, Haven's
It's a 20s,
mind.
it doesn't matter. They get crushed at the ones.
At that point, she points and then waves an arm. Gilwin appears from invisibility before her. She goes, well, unfortunately, I don't really need him alive, and just rakes her hand over his throat, slitting it, blood spilling forth. As Haven witnesses this nightmare, he takes. So the rest of you didn't see this. The rest of you just see Haven.
Okay, good. The rest of us didn't see this.
The rest of you just see her point at Haven with the spellbook out, and then like the second after she does that, her hands sort of return, like almost like return to the illusion of like there's nothing in her hands and she's just standing very normally. It's very unsettling. It's like almost like a visual glitch. Haven takes 16 psychic damage.
I'm down.
So he just sort of.
I'm at
falls.
-1, which is 0 in this game.
Yes.
As he drops to the floor, Melody places her hand on his shoulder.
I'll drop to the floor screaming, "Go!" Like kind of like flopping forward for him, sort of a. Go ahead.
Melody reaches down, grabs his shoulder, cure wounds, just while glaring up at Sparrow.
Now, ultimately, this is the matter of fact of things. Your friend agreed to work with me so that he understood how this city worked. Now I understand that you people don't, and that's absolutely fine. I am not against foreigners. And in fact, if you could have talked with me and we discussed this civilly, then perhaps I would have even given you an invitation to his performance at the ball tomorrow. But
We did ask, but the guards said no chance of seeing him.
well, they know how this process works. Yet to interrupt me from important college business. So honestly now, I'm going to have to ask you to leave and make sure that you do leave. Gilwin will be returned to you when the performance is done. Do not worry. You will be fine. I don't want to hurt a promising new musician. He may even become an applicant here. He has promise and is entirely self-trained, well trained by his mother. Which means he's very good at what he does. So, now I'm going to ask you to leave, but do know that I am telling you to leave. And you will leave, and you will not return, and then you will have your friend back.
Right. Yes, that is quite enough. We understand, you condescending bitch. Now, perhaps you are going to assault an unarmed man again. My friend is on the floor. He is not feeling quite so well after what you did to him. Perhaps you will let us go without a lecture.
She nods slightly, and sort of almost like a curtsy. I wish the three of you a good night, and disappears.
You're right, Haven.
It was real, but it wasn't.
No,
It's the same tricks the elves use.
It was all an illusion, mate. One of the guards actually goes and hands Haven a small like vial of a red liquid.
When he goes to hand it to me, just out of instinct, not because he's an ass, he'll go to like smack his hand aside, and then like once he realizes like he wasn't like approaching to attack, he'll be like, "Oh, sorry," and like hold his hand up to accept whatever he's giving to him.
It's a regular health potion, so it's the 2d4 plus 2, and then he kind of like nods the others like. And you can actually tell with like almost passive insight. Melody notices the most. These guys are totally scared of her. You know, she is. They don't like this either, but this is their job and / their life. All right, it's time for the lot of you to leave.
Trying to figure out if I've got any tricks I can play before leaving, but I don't think I have.
I'm actually going to say to the guard, I'm going to say, as I kind of like get my senses to me and regather my bearings, I'm going to say, you're an honorable person. You brought us here, kept your word, and then showed me an act of kindness. What's your name, sir?
My name is Bryce.
I'll remember you, Bryce. If maybe we'll meet each other again later in this life. And, just give like an appreciative nod, get my things on me, and leave the room.
Yeah,
not going to do anything.
Yeah, they have all your things in like a tarp. And they hand it to you, and then they guide you out. But you know that you just go down the stairwell until you leave the foyer, unless there's any sort of tricks the two of you want, or the three of you want to play.
I so want to summon a swarm of rats somewhere.
So I disguise self as Bryce and go back. Hi, I'm Bryce. That's my name. I have a name.
You leave and you're ushered out. You're ushered out of the gate. It's well and truly night right now. It's snowing quite fiercely, and they close the gate behind you.
Well,
Melody just sits down and sort of looks down, very sad.
yeah, they'll agree with that. Sit down on one of the steps, hand in on it.
Melody's
one of
just
his
like,
hands.
Melody's just like,
So I think at some point in time, Amelia told us we should just go and get a drink and wait. Do you think
How
maybe
about-
we should listen to that idea?
How about we go and get a drink and pretend that none of this happened and don't tell Amelia? First round's on me?
Okay.
There we go.
On the way past Tune.
Yeah,
Tune.
Tune would come and run and find you. No, don't
There's
worry
like a
about
little bit of lamppost that's melted away where he's peed on it.
it. Yeah! Yeah! Obviously, right? It goes all ways. And you head down to the nearest tavern that doesn't look too posh, right? I imagine.
Yeah.
Knowing you guys, like the nearest place that looks kind of gaudy. You're in an actually quite high class area, but you can sort of keep walking until you find something quite nice, which actually, funnily enough, is called the Hearty Hound. And there's actually some, like, you go in, there's actually some dogs in the tavern that sort of like are running around. Well, not running around.
Toon's gonna get some babies.
Ah! But it's a similar, it's exactly sort of place you're like sort of like kind of crappy quality, but like it's kind of the atmosphere you like. Little shady, you know.
So what we want right now.
You can get some strumpets, you know, you can get a drink, you can get pretty much whatever. You probably buy some illicit materials. Exactly the sort of place you're looking for. At this time of night, there's not even much of music. It's quite quiet aside from a lot of like hushed, infernal talking of people scheming. And one person who's not quite so hushed, who is a Goliath, who is just like, and then I broke out of the prisons. Oh, don't you find it funny? Like, it's very quiet aside from that one guy who is actually talking to a bunch of people who also aren't so quiet, but he's a Goliath. They don't have a whisper sound. But you can easily sit down, get a round of drinks for like, you know, 2 copper each for some, or higher if you want to buy something higher quality.
I googled strumpet and clicked images.
Mhm.
And
You can get a strumpet here if you want.
yeah, no, thank you. That's not his cup of tea. Let's just say that. That is not his. I mean, leopard print pants on like a swing and like rah, or like overly tightened. Yeah, that's not his cup of tea. Nope.
Well, let's get drunk and then go and find where Amelia lives and sleep on her floor.
Is strumpet a food?
I did. give
No, that's what strumpet means.
Oh, okay.
I was being
oh,
literal.
order some
You could
strumpets.
order a strumpet here.
Okay. So I'm like, I'm still not finding the food, just more images.
Ah.
I'm expecting like some sort of pastry.
This place does not have pastries, mate. If you order a meal here, which you don't need because you already ate today, it's probably moldy.
Oh, okay.
This is a place that, and it's very much what Vale said earlier. He comes from Bildred because it's a city of pirates. Bastillion is almost there's a parallel to there because of the mentality of tieflings. This
Like
place is
Bildred with
really
makeup on.
piratey. You know, a pirate, if he didn't have the day he had, would really enjoy this place. You know, there's doggos, there's
Full
drinks.
stop. That's it. That's all you need.
All you need is doggos to
Just
make your
doggos.
tavern good.
This is the Jarviskjir equivalent of a cat cafe.
There's
Old
definitely
pub.
cat cafes, probably in
Dog
Bastillion
pub.
as well.
Yeah, let's get sloshed.
All right, you just spend a couple of gold and drink a lot.
Yeah.
Melody doesn't quite understand, but she sort of understand. But she gets that this is to like drown sorrow, so she joins in.
She gets it.
and probably gets horrific.
You mean you start hanging out with Gil a lot, and Gil drinks a lot when he's sad, but he never
True.
gets drunk. You guys do get drunk. So
yeah.
you drink. You get drunk. What's the plan
And a
now?
short rest.
You could totally short rest here while you're
I'm
drinking.
tempted.
I'll totally allow that because it's sort of like you're drinking, you're getting drunk, which means the wounds hurt less. Also, you can actually bandage. None of you have physical wounds, do you? Melody has a bruise.
Yeah.
Haven has mental wounds.
I got physical too from an exploding door bridge.
Oh, that was
penetrating
radiant,
thing.
and that left no wound.
Yeah, it still hurts.
Still hurt. But this actually, for the types of injuries most of you had, a short rest is actually the right, like a short rest drinking and relaxing is actually the right kind of rest. Awesome.
It's better. I'm on decent health now. I can.
Yeah, I'm
beat
at
up
39 out of 43. I'm good.
beat up that asshole over there.
Yeah,
in the
eat some. Did you get in a fight?
And
So
when you say I'm going to beat up that asshole in the corner over there, I'm
Are
going to
you ordering a strumpet?
Who do you find attractive?
Are there any elves in here?
One.
Half elves.
Well, usually it's the ones nearer my age, but usually they're like 100 years older at least, because you don't find quite so many around my age. You know, I'm under 100, Haven. I'm young. Did you know that? I'm 99. 99 tonight. Haven, that was a joke.
Oh. Huh.
What about you? I bet from the stories you say, you're clearly into elves. And he takes another big swig.
Oh, elves are too frail. At least the elves that I've always met. They're not really my type. I don't think it's kind of hard to have a type when you've never had the opportunity to, you know?
Right. Are you saying you are not Jerry? Is that what you're telling me?
I thought we had this conversation before, which is why this is a little uncomfortable. I've had to be companions to many different people because they just like the way that I look. And so I'm kind of not interested in anybody right now, and I'll worry about what I'm interested in after I kind of find out what I feel about this world.
Right. Well,
Why? What's your type? I'm assuming about your height, significantly more stocky, a little thick. Do you like longer hair or shorter hair?
I like them rich. No, I
to women. Melody, like drunkenly.
Melody.
Oh.
Melody likes Gil, don't you, Melody?
Oh.
Melody, big
Water cooler.
Gil is Melody's friend.
Yes, he is.
Wait, you're interested in women?
Who?
Melody
Gestures to
likes
Vale.
Celia.
No.
Oh, you don't like women?
No.
That makes more sense.
I just haven't had much luck with women my age. There's not too many elves about, and I never really spoke to elves around my age. And
There's a whole country of elves.
yeah,
Didn't you say you're from there?
I'm in a floating city above. Not many elves my age. I used to sneak down a bit, but a sun elf my age can't really go roaming around Thundra, so I had to stay quiet. So I didn't really get the chance to talk to many. And in Bilgewaike, I mean, there are elves and half-elves, but again...
Why do you keep saying my age like that's the only thing that matters?
Around my age? Well,
Yeah, that.
I mean... Okay. Right. So, you can give or take a couple hundred years, alright? But I don't want an old elf. Especially
Why does it have to
old,
be an elf?
Especially an old sun elf. Because...
Oh, you only... Oh, you're
Well-
ethnocentric.
Well,
Oh.
no. you
That's
see-
a
That's a
very
word he
big
knows.
word for
It's a word
Haven.
he knows.
That's so big a word. That's so big
He was
a
raised
word.
by Drow. Ethnocentric is like the
You see,
In
fucking
common?
seat of life. Fair
see,
enough. He would
I
say
have-
an undercommon. He'd be like, you're, and say an undercommon ethnocentric.
No.
you see, I have an obligation, if I can, to produce more sun elves, because we're dying out.
Animals make more of their species.
Yes, I may have a little disposition that way, but how do I put it? It's bad enough being good friends with Gil, knowing that I will probably outlive him. If it was someone I wanted to spend my life with, I would probably fade after 100 years. That's that. I'm not sure I really want to put myself through the process of such pain and dying young because of it.
I think you're thinking about this all wrong. What about you?
What do you mean?
Well, there's more than just duty. What about you?
Well, I kind of already abandoned most of my duties. I ran away from what I was supposed to do. I became a pirate. I don't know whether there's any other Sun Elves.
There's duty of the mind. Duty of the mind. There's duty of the mind, and there's duty of the heart.
Well, Melody isn't.
Why do you follow Gil? It's because your heart tells you to, right?
Yes, I suppose so.
So you're going to close your heart off to other things that it's going to tell you to follow, just because of some responsibility that you just genuinely don't care about?
Well, I haven't really thought about it that way, and I really haven't had that much luck with, the other. I tried talking to Amelia, and it got to the point where I just had to, straight up, I just had to apologize. I don't even know what I did wrong. And she just, I said, I think your parents, one of them might have been a moon elf. And she got really upset about that. Moon elves are the sister race of sun elves.
I don't entirely know what you're trying to say. It's kind of confusing me.
I like the idea of Vale sort of leaning into Haven, whispering all this stuff, and Haven just like looks at Melody, who's just like that one friend at a party who's had one too many.
I feel like I should have had more.
What I mean, Haven, is I don't know how to talk to women. Not in that way.
You just spoke pretty candidly with the Archmage.
Yes, but I wanted to murder her. It's different. It's not the same.
He doesn't like the Archmage.
You either want to kill or cuddle? There's no middle ground for you? Can't a man and a woman just be friends?
Yes, I'm just friends with Amelia. But it was still awkward at first.
Because you either wanted to kill or cuddle her? Is that how you approach each situation? Is kill or cuddle, and then once it gets past that, then you can just be friends?
Haven, I'm a little bit disturbed by the truth in this conversation, actually. And I think you have given me much to ponder. And perhaps we should discuss a different topic that is not to do with my killing or cuddling.
I agree. It's giving me more insight into the elves and why it was that either they killed their slaves or slept with them.
What?
So
the elves don't keep slaves.
One day I'll bring you deep underground, and I will show you to where it was that I was kept as a slave.
Elves don't live underground. There are no elves underground.
Are you saying that my everything I've experienced is a lie?
I'm saying that they were not elves. Maybe they were... what are they called? The little dark gnomes.
Sverfneblin?
Deep?
I mean, I've had a few
Gnomes?
Sverfneblin friends. They some of them were kept as slaves, but they're much harder to capture as slaves. Some of them can walk through walls.
Right. Okay. But what I mean is, there's no elves underground, let alone keeping slaves.
They don't look the same as you do, as I told you the first time we met. But
right, so they don't look like elves, but they're elves.
well, no, they're thin. They have pointy ears. They are kind of tall. Very, very dark, ebony skin, almost sheen to it. Wickedly smart, crafty with magic, and like you, can climb walls like spiders. Not to mention the webs that you had summoned before. Sorry, not webs. Sorry, the spiders you had summoned before. It all falls in line.
I can't use magic. I didn't summon any spiders. Can I do a religion roll on this one?
Absolutely.
As they're arguing about the spiders, Melody reaches out a hand, and I'm just basically I'm technically
going to summon one spider.
Yeah, I'm going to summon one small spider, like a mini conjure
So
animal.
Vale, you get that sort of recollection that like to you, it's the drow are a boogeyman. I mean, you wouldn't even know the word drow. You know them as the usurpers. The usurpers gain the powers of spiders. They have their skins turned black via years underground. He is describing, and this is why you're having a hard time accepting it, a fairy tale boogeyman that you were told as a child. But then it goes beyond you were told as a child from like a storybook. You were told it in like military training as well. Like they like, you're fighting these creatures as like you either fighting the usurpers or you fighting giants. Those were the those are the two bad guys for your youth. So Melody, so you connect those dots, but you still don't know that they're real. But you've definitely been in enough situations. You didn't know Yetis were real, but you heard people talk about Yetis. Now you know they're real. It's that sort of thing. Melody summons a single spider. Probably a big one. Like a tarantula.
Yeah.
Oh, he says, kind of like things clicking together after a few moments of watching her summoning it and looking at it and realizing it's her, like back and forth. Be like, oh, you summon the spider. Spiders. There are 3 of them? 2 of them? 6 of them? I can never remember numbers.
Melody summons spirits like animals.
Maybe it's because some of the magics that the elves had were stronger when they were down underground than they were when they came to the surface. Maybe it's because you're on the surface. If you went underground, your magic would be stronger, and you could summon them.
No, my only form of magic that I have is I'm not really sure I would call it magic. It's inborn. It's connected to the sun. I can use it when the sun is in the sky. What you are talking about, really, it sounds bizarre. An instructor at the academy, he used to go on. He was one of the older sun elves. You know what they're like. And he was an old wizened fellow, and he used to go on about these dark-skinned elves that used to live underground. I mean, can you still think they're elves?
I'll also tell you just more tidbits that because you've got a 21 religion check. I already told you that that, like in other D&Ds, the drow betrayed other elves. That's why they're down there. Although it's one of the things that's hush-hush, Vale, there's sort of a rumor. One of the things that, like, that old guy wouldn't tell you, but, like, someone else would tell you. They used to be moon elves, and they betrayed the other moon elves, and they betrayed Corellon, leader of the elves, and that's where the change happened.
You still believe they're elves?
I know they are. They're elves.
So there is a tale. Long ago, the Sun Elves were placed onto this land by Orminator Lathander. And again, a sister race, saloon placed moon elves upon the world. Apparently, a group of these moon elves. The moon elves, by the way, they have sometimes beautiful silver skin or dark violet hues, and some of these moon elves betrayed the others. They tried to usurp the elves of old, and they were banished into the darks underground. But honestly, Haven, that is dismissed as fairy tale, as zealous nonsense.
Literally just takes off his whole shirt and places it on top of the table in front of him to reveal all the scars and the marks and the different things they put in him. The spots where spiders have bitten into him, and you can see like the burns of where like poison has eventually been seeped out. You can see all the different marks from like falling down like various climbing areas that scraped open, had to heal naturally, and so on and so forth. Just like exposes everything in his upper body that you can't usually see, and says, I guess I must be imagining this then.
I'm sorry, I do not mean disrespect. Just difficult to change my view so suddenly and without seeing one in person. Melody, have you ever heard of these dark-skinned elves?
Melody knows of
You've seen them.
elves.
You saw them before.
On the mountain.
Oh yes, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Gil spoke to them.
Sorry, I completely forgot about that bit. Wait, we get Vale. Okay, retcon that slightly. Vale says that, and Melody just nods. On the mountain, dark-skinned elves.
Well, gives an alarmed look at Haven, then looks back at Melody.
The mountain we came over to Bastillion. Same mountain, different part of mountain.
What happened? Did they fight you?
We... No. They captured Melody while she was a rat, but Gil got her back.
You get caught a lot as a rat, don't you?
Disturbing trend. So Gil spoke to these elves?
Yes, they seemed wary, but not bad people. But dark skin, light hair, like
That
Haven
matches
described.
the tales. I think perhaps we need to ask Gil a couple of questions.
I mean, you already have two people saying it's real. One with
Yes.
lots of evidence. How many more do you need?
I'm not saying I disbelieve you. I'm saying I want to know more about what these usurpers were like.
Well,
if they're on the surface, then this is a major danger, and we should be, well.
They come to the surface all the time. How do you think they captured me as a child and raised me down in the caves?
All right. With that thought, we're gonna take a break.
I love how that was meant to be like we're going to get drunk and forget what just happened.
You were sad drinking, which means you had sort of a jokey bit and then it went low, which happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I blame Erin.
That's my fault.
Look, she's
Isn't it
actually
bad?
literally blameless in this situation. She's just like, well, we'll wait for the paperwork. I'm half elf. I don't mind waiting. I inherited that. All right, we're gonna be right back because Scott's just wandered off.
He's peaced out.
All right,
Bye, Scott.
Fix
bye.
this
We'll be
chat.
back in a second.
Do you want